dinosaur fans! Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the absolutely incredible support by the folks over at Mattel, we're going to be taking a look at their new Jurassic World Dominion sound slashing Therizinosaurus. And this is kind of an interesting, it's a new dinosaur in the Jurassic franchise. While we've seen a lot of ones over and over again, it is always absolutely fantastic when they introduce a new one. But what's interesting about the Therizinosaurus is that realistically, there is not a ton of information on this animal. We'll get into a little bit more of that later on, but for the packaging, much like a lot of the Jurassic figures, you have this nice open package, which allows you to kind of play with it, and obviously hear some of the sounds. Now, I have criticized some other companies for releasing figures that have packages that you can just reach in and touch things, so I do want to stay at least consistent and say that I do wish that the packaging was more enclosed. That way you don't have people kind of messing with it and potentially damaging the actual figure. But it is still nice to actually be able to play with some of the features, like you could hear with the sounds. Otherwise, you have a really gorgeous background here with the T-Rex right there, the Jurassic World Dominion logo here in the front, and then you can even see like a background here. Shh, quiet. You got a beautiful background here showing a very nice moonlit kind of forest. That's really cool. Come around to the back of the package and you get more of a kind of description of its action features with, of course, you know, the sounds, the chomping, all that fun stuff, including the little tab thing that comes out of the back so that you can scan it and get some details on the Therizinosaurus. And of course you got the T-Rex right down there, which we'll take a look at here in a bit. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have the Therizinosaurus opened up and out of its packaging. And this is an absolutely incredible figure. For the past several years, Mattel has done an exemplary job really pushing the boundaries in recreating these characters from these beloved films. The Therizinosaurus will be making its debut in the upcoming Jurassic World Dominion film. So, we're not entirely sure as of right now just how accurate this figure is compared to that model in the film. But what we have here still is absolutely terrific. And, you know, the funny thing is, I really did not know very much about this dinosaur. I think in my unboxing video, I didn't even say the name right. So, a huge shout out to my friend Jurassic Addict, who messages me every now and then and gives me some tips on some of these dinosaurs, because he is a massive dinosaur fan. And I am as well, but truthfully, I do kind of stick to some of the more well-known dinosaurs. Now, the thing about the Therizinosaurus is there, like I said, is not a lot of information about this species. From what I've seen, the only thing that's really been recovered in terms of kind of skeletal remains would be this area of him. So the rest of how he looks is kind of based on other similar creatures. So again, in Dominion, the look that we're going to see of them may not be what actual science kind of determines. And of course, they put in the whole built-in sort of loophole that nobody wants regular looking dinosaurs. They want them to be kind of super impressive. So they mix different things, like with the Indominus Rex. But the interesting thing really about the Therizinosaurus is that when he was initially discovered, because of these giant Wolverine-style claws, they thought he was a carnivore. But they now strongly believe that these were used to kind of cut off branches and leaves and things like that, because they believe he is actually a herbivore. Despite the fact that this guy looks wicked evil and monstrous, this guy very possibly ate plants. And that's hilarious. Now, taking a look at the figure, as I said, he is a very noisy one. But these claws are very much accurate to how the actual theories on how he looked kind of are. They also strongly believe that a lot of dinosaurs had feathers. So you can see throughout here, you have a much more featherer look in terms of the sculpted detail. Even when you come down here to the tail, which looks amazing. A lot more modern theories on dinosaurs is that they were very much like birds, with things like feathers, and in the case of the Therizinosaurus, he actually has a beak. Now, they don't paint that on there. You can kind of see where it's sculpted there, But I do kind of wish that was painted a little bit differently. But that boy's got a beak. But he's also massive. I'm going to bring in Owen because that's a little bit more movie specific. This is about right in terms of the scale. That's how big the Therizinosaurus was. And then kind of putting it into perspective, just because I don't really do this very often, but here is my Stegosaurus. I mean, you could see where people would think that this was a carnivore just because of how big and vicious it looks. I don't want to bring in Rexy yet because I haven't reviewed that yet, so I don't want to spoil it. But I'll bring the Therizinosaurus out when I do that review of Rexy so that you can see it. But I mean, this is like, I mean, you can imagine, oh, with the noises and everything, you have that. That looks a whole lot weirder than I intended it to be. But I love the coloration on here. You see, you got a lot of different variations, and then it is kind of a glossy sort of thing, so it does really have a cool look to it. Now, he does have that little thing here. If you want to go ahead and scan that for your little collecting thing, you can scan that there. And you'll see that they actually do list them as being a herbivore, which is cool. Just amazing detail all the way around. I mean, like, even look at the head. I mean, that is very, very cool looking. One thing I also like is you can see that he does have that, like thrashing thing. Now, it's all incorporated with the tail. You can move the tail, and it makes the rest of the body go. But there's a lot of other articulation in it. You also have a button right here, which I guess he probably wouldn't do this if he's a herbivore. I just think that's kind of funny. So you do have that button right there, and then you have the play feature. Now, with all this, I mean, you got like that moving down, you got the side to side, but there's a lot of other articulation. I love the fact that the top head here is on a ball joint, so you can get a good range of motion. You can open the mouth and everything, but it is going to close. Great detail on the inside there with the tongue and the teeth. So I do really like that you can articulate that head around. I really love seeing that. Also, these upper arms are on pin hinge joints, so you can articulate that around. Same thing with elbows as well as wrists. So you can really get a lot of poses with this guy. The back legs here, you can see they move in and out. They also move forward and back. Good ratchet joint on the inside there, which helps to kind of lock things into place. Kind of feels like there's a couple, honestly. Then you have a knee that bends, has a ratchet or so in there, also does rotate, and then you can also rotate the ankles around, which is nice to see as well, because it really does help to kind of move things around to really get this kind of balanced properly, because it is big, and you can see you can put several different poses for this. You can have a little bit more of a squat down pose, you can have more of a reared back kind of pose like that, and then with that head articulation you can kind of move that around and kind of make him like look like he's very tall. I keep saying now everybody talks about how the dinosaurs in Jurassic World and stuff are all girls. I don't know, this might be one that's in the wild, so maybe they're creating boys out there. Who knows? I don't know the story of the movie, but overall, really love what they're doing here with these, and it's very impressive. This does feel like a little bit loose, so maybe angle that there. Oh yeah, that helps to kind of balance them out. But I absolutely love the way that this looks, and as ferocious and beastly as it is, it's interesting that the thing eats plants. I just find that super hilarious. But there you go, guys. If you're a dinosaur fan, absolutely, I recommend these. I think that the folks at Mattel are doing an amazing job with all of these dinosaurs that they've been producing for the past number of years. Just got to get the balance here right. There we go. Get that legs position right. The past several years, they've been doing an amazing job, and it feels like they're saving some of their best for last. And I'm on board, and I cannot wait. So, there you go, guys. There's my look at the new Jurassic World Dominion Therizinosaurus. If you'd like to pick this guy up, it is hitting various retail locations right now. So, as always, good luck and happy hunting. Also, again, I want to send a huge shout out to the folks over at Mattel for helping to make this review possible by sending me this sample so I can review it for you guys. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.